There's so many. Has anyone been to them all?
Not likely.
I want to be the first one to see them all.
Truly wonderful the mind of a child is.
Come on. When you find people who need your help, you help them. No matter what.
Good luck. We have hope. Hope that things can get better. And they will.
Stand up together. Because that's when we're strongest. As one.
You won't be going alone. You'll have a friend with you.
No. I'll have a Jedi with me.
You might wanna buckle up, baby.
Rise
in the Force.
Take care of us, little one.
It'll take care of you. We had each other. That's how we won.
The Force is strong in my family.
Its energy surrounds us and binds us.
What is it they've sent us?
Hope.
Hello there. Welcome to the Nerdy Cantina, where we are going to be discussing Star Wars The Acolyte. However, these are going to be spoiler-heavy discussions, so if you have not seen the latest episode or any of the episodes thus far of Star Wars The Acolyte, which is currently streaming on Disney+, please pause the video, save this for your watch later list after you've had a chance to watch the first 3 episodes of The Acolyte, because we are going to be discussing specifically Episode 3 titled Destiny. Here on this episode of the Nerdy Cantina. I am your host, Ryan of Van Quote Channel. I'm not alone in this. We have plenty of drinks and food for everybody. And if anyone tends to shoot one another, we'll just take a gold coin, toss it over to our friendly neighborhood bartender and say, sorry about the mess. But please welcome Dutch Star Wars guy is back, because he has to be back. It's Case. Hello, Case. How are you?
Hello. I want to say I'm good. Unfortunately, reactions to my review that I already posted on my own channel were not great, so we're gonna get into that.
Interesting. Well, also joining us on this panel of wonderful people. Case is also a wonderful person. Please welcome our good friend Jen to the stage. Jen, welcome back. How are you?
I'm good. How are you all?
Fine. We're all fine here. No, thank you. Anyway, we're happy to have you with us. We're happy to have everyone here, and also someone he's a just a casual, just casual fan of the War and the Stars, but he is learning very much so as he goes throughout the course of his education. And just remember one thing, my good friend: you must unlearn what you have learned. Dion of All Star Fandom is in the building. That doesn't make sense. Welcome back, sir. How are you?
Thanks for having me. Like I said, I have my pad and my pen. I'm ready to go. Let's do it. And I'm anxious to hear what Case has to say, because
I know. I'm like, wait, what do you mean?
Yeah, I know, right?
This is going to be very, very interesting. Now, if you who may be watching or listening to this right now have any thoughts or concerns, whatever it may be, about all things Star Wars, not just Star Wars The Acolyte, but stuff in the Star Wars galaxy in general, let us know in those comments. Let us know in the chat. Don't forget to like and share this with everyone you know. And if you're watching us live or on a replay, we thank you specifically so much for being with us. So I'm going to go around the table here and get some discussion going, because Lord knows there's a lot to discuss about Episode 3 titled Destiny. So real quick, in Destiny, we get a flashback to how the fire was started, how these sisters got separated, and some of the stuff that they were doing in the witchy woman tribe. So just out of curiosity, Case, what were the positives that stood out to you in this episode?
I was waiting for this episode since last week, because last week we had 2 episodes in present times. They were talking about the fire, everything that happened, and I was just thinking, like, are we going to see those flashbacks soon? I had the feeling we might have to wait for it quite a while, but no, we got pretty much all of it right now. So I was very happy to see that, and I was very happy to see how it all played out. I thought everything pretty much made sense compared to what they were saying, but there were also a couple of things that this episode still was able to give us some intrigue, some mystery, some stuff we don't know just yet about how exactly certain things played out, especially in regards to May. I'm very curious about her character and everything. But I really like this episode, and apparently I'm not allowed to on the internet. That's what I'll get into in a bit.
Oh my goodness. Oh boy. Nerdy Entrepreneur says, we are here. Well, we're glad to see you here, Nerdy Entrepreneur. Thanks for joining us. Feel free to share your thoughts about Star Wars or anything concerning that in the comments or the live chat down below. Excuse me. So I'm going to go to the casual. He just walked in one day and thought, hey, Star Wars is kind of cool. Let's see where this goes.
I picked up his tabs.
I know he's just being casual about it. And he's wearing casual clothing that's not Star Wars themed, but that's all right. Someone else in the studio isn't either. But we all love each other because we're all friends, right? Or we can call ourselves frenemies later on in this show. But Dion, I am curious.
You're the one starting the frenemies for no reason.
Yeah, it's weird how things start on the internet. You know, it's just because if it's on the internet, right, it's got to be true. No, it's not. Dion, what would you say are some of the positives that stood out for you in this week's episode of The Acolyte?
Well, first, in like a show with very strong women, I feel like I have a really strong woman figure on my shirt. So take that, Ryan. Positives. Positives for this one.
I agree.
Positives. I actually enjoyed this one a lot too. It gave us the backstory because I was agreeing with Case too. I didn't think we'd get it this fast. But what happened between May and Osha? But I like the way that they sort of essentially gave us that from the beginning, or gave us the story behind it. I did have some questions though that I was going to throw out just to make sure I was on the right track for a lot of things. But for the most part, I really enjoyed the episode, and it was a new twist for me because the whole Covenant witches within the Star Wars universe, it was unbeknownst to me. So I didn't know if that was a thing that was. Oh, really? Oh, okay. So, yeah, I said, hey, there's something new. Let's see what this works out, and let's see what this force and thread sort of looks. How does that relate? So, but yeah, I didn't mind it. I like the story and find out what happened and how we got to that point between the sisters.
Well, fair enough. And yes, Wonder Woman is a very iconic character, and she deserves to be celebrated as much as anyone else. So I'll give you that. Cue the theme song in the back of my mind. Anyway, yeah, I got the Gal Gadot theme stuck in my head because it's so good. Anyway, I digress.
Oh gosh, that soundtrack.
It's hashtag lack of boss. But anyway, outside of the DC fandom, which we can talk about on another show, which Dion and I may just do a discussion on that later on in the summer. Who knows? Jen, what were your thoughts as far as the positives that stood out to you in this episode? Anything stand out?
There's a lot of things, and I agree with everything that's been said thus far. It was a really strong episode. I was surprised that we got it as quick as we did, and the fact that it was a whole episode dedicated to it. They didn't break it up to where, like, if you watch the Book of Boba Fett, where every time you got a flashback scene, it was when he's in the tank, and you knew, flashback, here we go. So I really liked that they made this decision. I thought it was a really good move. I also really enjoyed how I really like what they're doing with the writing. They're answering questions, but then they're giving us more questions to ask, because this one gave me some theories I've been chewing on and wondering about as I've watched the episode twice now. So everything that decision-wise that they have made up to this point, I really enjoyed it. And yeah, internet, I enjoyed it. Take that.
Come at me.
Yeah,
hold my beer.
I know, right? It's like the expression goes, what is it? Don't come at me, bro. In the comments or something like that. I don't know. The Nerdy Entrepreneur goes on to say, I could say things about this episode, but hey, listen. I mean, to each their own. If you wish to share, you can share. But if you don't want to share, that's fine too. We respect everyone here to the best of our ability. With me, in regards to this week's episode, Destiny, I thought the flashback was only going to be like 5 minutes, maybe 10, and then it would cut back to what is known as present day, and I would have been fine with that. But the fact that this whole episode was one giant, massive flashback, we find out about May and Osha's family. We find out about their, the mother Anasea. And I believe it's Cora or Coral, something like that. Mother Coral, and her relationship with the girls, and how, you shouldn't sneak off. We don't want you, we want you to be safe, and blah, 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 blah. And then you see the relationship, or the strained relationship between the two sisters, May and Osha, if I'm saying that right. Please excuse me if I'm mispronouncing that.
No, you got it. May and Osha.
It was very good to see it and explore why, they had such different viewpoints and different belief systems, and why they made the choices that they made. So I here's my thing. I like this episode, but I didn't love it like I did with the first two. But that's okay. We got plenty of episodes to go. The season's not even over yet, not even close. So we got more than enough to go on. But this episode was good. It answered a lot of questions. Still left us with some more questions afterwards. Because I thought when who was it? It was May who ended up surviving. I thought someone from the dark side was going to rescue her when she fell off that the catwalk. You know, and then that's
I have
how
a theory about that.
Yeah, she was trained by the mystery man or whoever the Mr. Roboto. I don't know. So I heard that song in the car today. Sue me. It's the 80s, guys. So that was, interesting. The strained relationship between the two and why they decided to go in the directions. So those are the things that stood out to me as far as the plot. And by the way, the costumes look good. The visuals were pretty good, even though it was like more in a more contained environment, not like outer space type stuff. But it still worked for what it was. I mean, the landscapes look good. The trees look
wherever they shot. They got gorgeous shots.
I like the shot. I think the visual effects are good too, with like the Jedi starship and the Jedi. What was it? Kelnaka working on the speeder.
Yeah,
I thought that was kind of cool. And then, what was it? O's just trying to talk to this dude, and he doesn't do anything but like we don't know what you're saying. I mean,
he does.
I don't know if she understands what he does. I don't know. I got
the impression she did.
Maybe, but it's still kind of unknown to me. But anyway, the costumes look good. The Jedi in the robes, Kelnaka. You see these characters a little bit younger. And yes, I will admit it. Trinity came back. And she looked good. She stood up for herself. She stood her ground. And some of the debates between should we be training children to do certain things? Should we not be training children to do certain things? Like what's the law here? How does it stand? That was interesting. It was talking about politics and how they go with the rules of the Republic and whatnot, because some systems are outside of the Republic's jurisdiction, apparently.
Which stems from the High Republic series, because you see that in the book series of the politics from where book 1 starts and then where it goes to. So it stems from that.
If you've read the book, spoilers. Haven't read the book.
Ryan, if you've read the book.
I know if I read the bloody books, I would know more. But anyway, those are the things that stood out to me, and also some of the fight at the end there with how the fire started and all that was pretty nuts. How that happened. But anyway, we'll talk more about that as we get it
quickly.
It was really nuts, and very quickly, I might add. But anyway, we'll get more into that a little bit later. But those are the things that stood out to me in terms of the positives that I liked about this episode. So I'm going to turn things back over to Jen. If you don't mind me asking, were there any negatives that stood out to you?
Honestly, no, just because we don't have all of the answers to the questions yet. And when I watch these shows, I don't call anything a filler until I see the whole season, because one of the things I've been noticing in the shows and movies overall, when I have a moment to go back and rewatch, I'm noticing that they're doing purposeful connections with things, giving things more clarity and how things connect to other projects that have already been done or that are coming out. So that's something, as for me as a viewer of visual storytelling, I love seeing that. It just gives more texture. So I really don't have any negatives about this, just because this is only episode 3. They're still doing building with the story and everything. I just really left with more questions and some theories.
Well, that's fair. That's absolutely fair. To the gentleman who's got a legal pad the size of the Empire State Building and going to work.
Yeah, I'm with him.
Oh, okay. Well,
I'm with him.
Excuse me. Case in
point. My pen too.
Case in point. Exactly. She has a legal a notepad and a pen. But just so you know, the pen is mightier than the sword. Anyway, we'll talk more about that on Sunday with Last Crusade. So, Dion, any negatives for you that stood out in this week's episode?
More questions than negatives. I think really it came down to, like, I wrote it down. We went like 0 to 100 real quick with the I'm gonna kill you thing. That came off the top rope with just
like the Macho Man flying elbow, maybe. Ooh,
it caught me off guard. I get that they're different, or they're showing that the twins are different, or stuff like that. But I just went we ratcheted it up real quick right there, and then obviously with the bridge part, with both of them sort of being there and one falling, one being caught, that sort of thing. But I think more questions than Yeah, I think that was a negative for me because it switched up the whole thing. Even though we could sort of see that tension start to grow, I didn't think we got there yet. But that's the only little nugget that I took from it.
Now, was it a regular nugget or a chicken McNugget or a Denver nugget?
Not that very big, about a chicken McNugget, you know.
All right.
In a 6 count.
Wait, like McDonald's McNuggets, Chick-fil-A McNuggets, like which kind of nuggets?
Oh, jeez.
Let's stick with
golden
McDonald's.
nuggets.
The golden nuggets. Which one were you going to stick with, Dion? I'm so sorry.
Let's stick with McDonald's.
All right, stick with Mickey D's because what's the
You can
song?
never go wrong.
I'm loving it. Anyway, by the way, hashtag not a sponsor of this program, known as the Nerdy Cantina, talking all things Star Wars. If you're wondering what the bantha fodder is going on, talking about the latest episode of The Acolyte. Don't forget to like and share this with all of your closest friends. And if you have any thoughts about it, let us know in the comments of the chat. And if you're watching this live or on a replay and you feel like you're getting awfully hungry, feel free to get yourself some nuggets, or chicken nuggets, whatever fits your fancy. With that being said, I think Jen's going to be trying to look for some dinner or maybe some meals afterwards. I don't know.
Cal started meowing, and I was like, "Huh, what happened?"
Oh, I thought you were looking for the Golden Nugget or some other establishment that's near your facility. But anyway, gosh, Case, any negatives that stood out for this week's episode for you?
Yeah, it's called the fandom of Star Wars because the thing is, look,
get it.
The thing is, when it comes to any kind of Star Wars content, I know that there always are going to be people who don't like it, and that's fine. Like, it's okay if you don't like everything Star Wars. This happens. We all have different opinions. That's one thing. But another thing is when people start targeting other people for liking a certain thing. If I like this show, let me like it. Don't go into the comment section on my video saying, "Oh my God, how can you like this garbage? It's so stupid." Type out an entire paragraph of bullshit that has no valid criticism whatsoever, and calling me a Disney show. By the way, thank you for calling me a Disney show. I have a very average job. I don't work for Disney. But the thing is, when people say this type of stuff and they spout out so much hate and toxicity simply because they hate a show that they already decided to hate months ago before this even came out, I'm just like, can you stop? Can you let people enjoy things? I like to enjoy Star Wars. I choose to like the show because I think it's a good show. Don't tell me what to fucking do. I am so done with the fandom sometimes. And that's what's just been really pissing me off. Like, I liked this episode a lot. I thought it gave us so many things. And then I upload my review, and I've actually had to delete every single comment because there was so much hate that I'm like, I'm not doing this. Absolutely not. So yeah, sorry, that was my rant.
No. It's fine because, and this is, by the way, this is just an observation that me personally I have made. Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
Jen was first.
Oh, I'm sorry. All right. Well, before I turn things over to Jen real quick, I'm just gonna share this real quick. Yeah. This is an observation that I've made over the last several weeks on the interwebs, on social media. There's been a lot, I've seen negativity in my lifetime against certain fandoms and certain characters and certain things that people aren't happy with, depending on how you look at it, of course. There has been so much negativity that I've seen on social media for this show alone.
Yeah.
And for the people working behind the scenes, some of the people maybe in front of the camera, whatever it is, I've seen nothing but negative thumbnails on social media. I'm thinking to myself, what did this studio do to tick so many people off to the point where it's everywhere I look, in every corner, in every street corner of the interwebs, by the way, not physically. But everywhere I look, I'm thinking, has Star Wars fandom gone completely mad? I just don't understand this at all. This is a new show with new characters, new storylines, new people working behind the camera that I'm not familiar with anyway. And you're getting a grown-up Rue from Hunger Games showing her skill. You got X-23 from one of the greatest comic movies of all time, Logan, growing into her own character in person with this show. Yeah. I mean, when you got Trinity, X-23, and Rue in the same show, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know about you, but I'm sold almost immediately. So That's just my 2 cents, and that's all I'm going to say about that. But Jen, you raised your hand for the class, so please go ahead and speak your piece before I go on to my feelings on what the negatives for me in this week's episode.
Yeah, no, I think I said this a little bit last week. What annoys me about being a fan of Star Wars is that we're coming to a point with criticism where we just can't appreciate artistry anymore. I mean, this is all art, down from the writing to the set design to the costuming. It's all art, the makeup, all of it. So it's like you're not allowing artists to do art, and this is all fantasy. This isn't really real life. I mean, yeah, there are things we can talk about where they pull from real life in our society and incorporate it to the show to make it more interesting and relatable. But in the end, it's like this is a fantasy show. So it's like, why are we getting so, I don't know, line in the sand stuff? Why can't, to what Case just said, why can't we just sit down, unplug, and enjoy? Just enjoy it. It's a story.
Yeah, that's very true.
This is why we can't have nice things.
It's like the expression
Why
goes.
do you have to say that?
I know. Why do we have to drop that line on this show? I don't know why. But I'm just curious, though. Dion, you had your hand up too. So would you like to share something with the class?
Yeah, because I wrote down, what are Star Wars fans looking for?
I know.
What's
Seriously.
what is that holy grail that you're looking for that this is such a big problem?
That's
Is it because there's female leads or female leads of color, or we're expanding the universe of diversity within Star Wars too? Like what's gotten so, because the shows, I think you can watch those and be like, okay, let's see where this goes. That's how I mean, I'm not everybody, but that's how I watch things, even if I'm not fully into the fandom. But it's to the point where, like, what are you looking for? What do you want it to, like, why are you mad? Like Kay said, like, why are you genuinely mad? Like, was it the plot? Was it like the lore? Was it, be more specific than just saying that it sucks. And that's all I've seen like the last few days before I watched it. Then I was like, okay, I need to watch to see what was so bad about this episode. And I was like, what did I miss? And
so that was the same thing.
No, like like when you look at it down to the bare bones, there's nothing really, like it would be something like, I don't know.
Like essentially what I saw for last week's episode is that people went up in arms about, how can fire exist in space? Which is, by the way, a point that you also brought up. That is the most nitpicky, petty little thing to complain about.
I got corrected by Star Wars Explains. They quoted Star Wars 1977, where George Lucas himself said, if he needs to use it in storytelling, he's going to use it. And I was like, okay, I'm sorry. I will sit down. For all the people that say, well, if George Lucas were here, he basically said back in the day, I'm going to use fire.
Yeah. And for example, another thing was, at least from what I saw, that people didn't like the witches and the way that they explained the Force. And I'm just like, we have seen witches and female, like all female.
Tales of the Empire. They delved into that even more.
Sorcerers or witches of Dathomir, like all those people. We've seen it before.
In the Clone Wars,
it's been mentioned.
Ahsoka, we saw it in live action for the first time with the Dathomirian Night Sisters, that kind of stuff. I'm like, so we don't have an issue with that, but we have an issue with this, which is pretty much the exact same thing. Why are we complaining
years
about
before
this?
all of the current ones that we've grown up with? It's just 100 years before.
I don't get it. I know. I don't.
Yeah, I don't understand the criticism that people have.
No.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's just confusing sometimes. But yeah, I mean, as far as, not to keep this on the negativity train for just a moment, but for me, the negatives that stood out to me in this week's episode regarding the Acolyte, episode 3, Destiny, just to keep it more specific, it did go from 0 to 100 very quickly. I mean, there was a friction between the two sisters in the beginning of the episode, and then it just exploded, literally and figuratively, later on. And I'm thinking to myself, what? I think May was born a sociopath, because she starts a fire that kills the people that she claimed to care about, including her mother Anasea and mother Cora. And I'm thinking Coral, yeah. And I'm thinking, you're a sociopath. You're out of your mind.
Can I comment on that real quick?
Well, I
Yeah, no,
will.
but I'm sorry, finish.
I
I have
will
a
hand the
comment about
floor.
that.
I will hand the floor back over to you in a moment. But I got to go over my negatives here real
Yeah,
quick.
no, go.
Yeah.
So yeah, the sister friction went way too quick, and also, how did Osha know about the Jedi anyway? Like, did she find it in a book? Because this planet and them being raised the way that they were, they seem like they're very strict, and they wanted to keep the girls safe in the village with the witchy woman. You know, so you're teaching them witchcraft. You're saying pull on the thread and get the power, you know, and all this stuff. Now we've seen witchcraft featured in Star Wars before, so this is a new ground that they're necessarily covering. But I'm still trying to wrap my head around the fact, okay, so you know what the Force is, but you say, well, no, we don't need the Force. We're witchy woman. We know what we're doing. I'm like,
It does mention the Force.
They call it thread.
Yeah. I'm like, you know, you think you're more powerful than the Force there, sister? I don't think so. But that's just my 2 cents. So I don't mind witchcraft in Star Wars because it's different. I mean, all we thought of in the beginning of Star Wars was there's the Force and that's it. But apparently there are other forces, excuse my words here, forces at work that we are unaware of, or we're learning about as we go through these shows, respectively, of course. So, but my negatives were May and Osha, like, they like each other 1 minute, and then May's like, if you don't do this, I'm going to kill you. She basically reminded me, now that I'm thinking about this, Dion, she reminded me of the great villainous character known as Owen Davian from a criminally underrated entry known as Mission Impossible 3, where he says, do you have a wife, girlfriend, whoever she is? I'm going to find her, and I'm going to hurt her, and then I'm going to kill you right in front of her. Like, she became Owen Davian real quick, man.
Yeah,
like,
I didn't expect it to hit that. I didn't expect arson to be on the
honestly. I mean, I feel
as far as she would go.
Her pointing the flames at Osha, saying, "You don't think I'll do it?" You know, once again, I'm going to Mission Impossible 3 because I've been watching it on demand lately. Sue me. So, and I love that freaking movie, and I don't care what anyone says about Mission Impossible.
Great.
So, and Philip Seymour Hoffman's the best villain in that franchise, respectively. So, May threw me off very much so, and I'm thinking, why do you? And the other thing was, okay, I want to be a witch. That's fine. But then how did Osha even remotely find out about the Jedi long before they showed up on the planet? Like, did she read it in a book? Did she hear it from somebody else? Because clearly all the women on this planet just want to stick strictly to the gospel of their witchcraft, which, hey, if you want to practice that way, fine with me. I respect all spiritual and spiritual belief systems. But it threw me off. And then the episode, to me, at least in my opinion, another negative for me, it felt too simplistic. They could have gone deeper into this, but it felt like very cut and dry. Osha wants to be a Jedi. May wants to be a witchy woman, you know, and Osha, you know, says, hey, I want to be a Jedi. I'm like, because she realizes there's more out there. There's more things going on out in the galaxy rather than just our home planet and the witchcraft stuff. I don't mind her doing that, but like, how did you find out about this in the first place? And like, of all things, why would you want to be a Jedi so hard? I felt like their motivations weren't exactly clear. They just kind of gave them to us and made it simplistic. And that threw me off. I want more detail. Don't just give me the, you know, straight up cut and dry, black and white. There's no gray matter here. I would have liked there have been more gray areas between these two characters, the sisters, by the way. But other than that, the Jedis look good. They stood their ground. They're like, hey, we don't appreciate you teaching children. Well, but then again, isn't that kind of the pot calling the kettle black? Because Jedi take children all the time and train them. So it's kind of like, well, you can do that, but the witchy woman can't do it. Like that's kind of a catch-22 double standard. I don't know. So that kind of threw me off. But anyway, those are some of the negatives that stood out for me. Otherwise, I thought this episode was fine, but I thought it was a bit simplistic and didn't really go into too much gray matter of detail. But that's just my 2 cents. Yes, Jen, what would you like to share with us?
So to the psychopath comment on May, my thought on that is because the two moms, Mother Coral and Mother Anasea, they are two completely different parents because we learned in the episode Mother Coral carried them, and then she used Mother Anasea used some type of witchcraft possibly to create these two because they don't have a father. So you can see the different dynamics and how Mother Coral is like, no, you have to be more firm. You have to be more harsh. I would just attribute that to like, you know, like the two different parenting styles, and that maybe she leaned more to Coral than she did Anasea. That's a possibility, but then I can understand and see how it does go from 0 to 100 really quickly because it does. But yeah, that's my thought on that.
Roger that. And by the way, what was it? The Nerdy Entrepreneur was talking about how I don't read the books. Yeah, I know I don't read the books. I'm sorry to disappoint you. And then she goes on to laugh at more stuff that we said earlier. Goodness gracious. What are you going to do? Once again, this is Nerdy Cantina. Don't forget to like and share this. If you have any comments or questions about Star Wars, let us know in the comments or live chat below. And if you're joining us live on a replay, thank you so much for being here. And by the way, Star Wars is for everyone. So let's keep it that way. So anyway, that's just my 2 cents. So is anyone else wish to comment on what Jen said, or shall we move on to question number 3,502?
Yes.
I think I'm done. I'm done with this part.
Okay, I'm just want to make sure if anyone wishes to comment on what Jen just said, just throwing that out there. Anyway, so here's my next question here to move along. What do we hope to see in the next episode, Case?
By the way, I just want to go back to some positives about this episode. Did we all enjoy all the parallels with Phantom Menace? Because there were so many of them. Essentially, apparently May and Osha are created through the Force, just like Anakin Skywalker, as explained in the Phantom Menace. What else? Yeah. By the way, I had so much.
He's got chock full of notes, ladies and gentlemen. However, he uses digital technology to keep these notes, whereas my 2 colleagues here, Jen and Dion, they use pen and paper. So,
but
not
that
there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying.
It's my version of information management system. It works. It's fine.
Great. And I appreciate you for doing so. By the way, what I just said to Jen and Dion, that is not a negative by any stretch. That is a positive.
But also very reminiscent was the fact that they took a blood sample to test for, the infamous M word. And they also then had Osha go through the test by naming an object that they have on the screen, just like Anakin did in front of the Jedi Council.
You're right.
There are so many parallels to the Phantom Menace, and I actually felt that they did that for the sake of it. Like, let's connect these things. And I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was. I like the fact that they brought up the screen again, and they said, "Hey, what do you see here? A planet, a ship,
a mountain,
a mountain." Correct.
Well, that wasn't about. Oh shit!
Oh darn it!
She's like, "Oh, consarn it! I messed up." But yeah, no, that's fair. That's absolutely fair. Anything else, anything else?
In terms of what I'd like to see,
what do you
like? I really want to see what is up with May, because May seems to be a very troubled character. Like, she has had a lot in her life, because she was willing to kill her sister and her entire family like that. And I'm just like, what happened to you? Also, May, why in the hell do you think that your sister died if she was still standing on the bridge when you fell down? How could you have seen her fall? And because she didn't, and then Soul actually caught her. So maybe she just assumed that Osha also fell. I don't know. But she, as we saw at the very end of the last episode, she was very surprised to see Osha. She did not know that Osha was still alive. She assumed that she had died in the fire. So maybe her master is poisoning her mind. Like, oh yeah, the Jedi did that, so you need to get the Jedi because they are totally the reason that your sister is dead. And then May is like, wait, my sister isn't dead. So I'm curious to see how that'll play out. I'm very curious to see how long she's had that master, and what they've talked about, what he's been teaching her. So I think the character of May is easily the most intriguing character here, because Osha, she's pretty much the protagonist. Like, she's a nice girl who just goes with everything, and that's fine, that's cool. But I think May is extremely interesting.
Yeah, I could see that. I could totally see that. That's fair. What about you, Jen? What do you hope to see in the next episode of The Acolyte or moving forward?
I'm looking forward to more questions getting answered, because this episode gave us a lot more questions. I mean, I have my own theory to what Case just said on a couple of things, but I'm looking forward to seeing more of questions getting answered, because one of the things that stuck out to me was we saw May start the fire, but then with the whole coven being just completely blown away, we really don't see what happens. And I don't believe May did that. I think something else happened, because in the previous episode, we have a Jedi Master willingly take poison and apologizing. So it's like, okay, there's a piece missing. What is that piece? What happened? And possibly the Jedi being involved in it. So I'm wondering how that's going to be answered, and if that part of the theory gets confirmed in some way, because watching it again, I did notice a few things, but then it goes back to, well, if the Jedi didn't do anything, why did he take the poison? You just don't take poison for no reason. So
to be fair, if you see him in that episode, his eye is really messed up.
Oh, yeah.
We don't see what happens in this episode, what caused that eye. So I'm like, there's something yet to happen there, I feel.
Well, no, because they're about to go to the Wookiee, Kalanaka.
Kalanaka, yeah.
And we know the Sith is coming, so maybe it's from that. Maybe I have no idea.
Maybe it could happen. We don't know. Anything is possible, and those are valid things that we hope to see in the future, moving down the line of the Acolyte, respectively. Dion, other than the fact that you're going to be taking more notes on that giant legal pad of yours, and you're probably going to run out of paper, which means you're going to have to get another one. You're going to have to write down all the questions that you have for the executives, the producers, the writers, the stars, everything. But I'm just curious. I am curious, because curiosity is a good thing. So, Dion, what do you hope to see in the next episode or so of what is known as the Acolyte?
Well, I was similar to Jen. I want to see... Everyone was dead once, the fire and everything, right? Like, I don't think the Jedi killed the witches. I'm not sure. I don't think that's the case. But like she said, he willfully drank the poison last week. So I don't know. I wanted to get to know that part of it. Like, how was everybody just laid out and done? Who is May, who's her master? Like, is that somebody from I don't know. It's just a lot of questions that I have that we all have, I feel like, and I'm hoping like the next few episodes, well, obviously they'll answer it, but I think that's what I'm looking forward to next, because we've gotten the backstory of the sisters, but now there's more backstory to even on top of that. How did all the witches die? Like, did the Jedi kill them? Like, so figuring those questions, answering those questions is what I'm looking forward to the most.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough. Yeah, I'm looking forward to finding out who this Dark Lord Master is of May, who's calling the shots, who's pulling the strings.
I have theories.
Who has corrupted this young girl's mind into thinking that the Jedi killed her family? Because obviously you did it with the... I'm sorry, what was that? I think I heard something in the backstage area. I missed that. What was that, producer? I missed that. Anyway, that was awkward. Somebody get that person a drink backstage, please. Anyway, so curious to see who the Dark Lord is. Very curious. And May, you're right. Maybe her family wasn't exactly killed by May. Maybe someone else. Maybe the Dark Lord did it, and then he convinces her that, hey, somebody else did it. You need to find out. You need to kill everybody, because if you don't, your life's going to be meaningless. It's going to turn to dust.
Killed by clones, these witches. By a lightsaber, it was.
Wow. Case pulling out his inner Yoda expressions here.
I have to.
But I'm looking forward to finding out who the puppet master is. Looking forward to how Osha and May are going to settle this score once and for all. They're going to kill each other. Osha going to kill May. May going to kill Osha. And then we're only at one sister out of this whole deal that survives the fight. In the words of Ken Watanabe, from Gojira, which was a good movie, by the way. I enjoyed it. Anyway. That's just fine. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to Osha getting back in the swing of things. Maybe Soul will, teach her some stuff, give her some new tricks. Maybe she'll get a lightsaber back. Who knows? Maybe she'll be one with the Force, and the Force will be with like it was with those dudes in Rogue One, which is a great film, by the way. Just throwing that out there as a for instance. But that's what I'm looking forward to seeing. And then the politics with the Jedi and the Republic, I'm looking forward to seeing more of that too, because it's what was her name? Vanestra Vero, if I'm saying that right?
No, it's Jennifer Godowski.
Yeah, right. It's Jen. Yeah, Jen's in the show. You were MIA this week, but that's because it was a flashback, so we get it.
I'm busy.
You're busy doing other stuff, which we'll let it slide. But I'm looking forward to seeing how Jen does on her next few episodes that she's potentially going to be featured in, with heavy dialogue sequences, heavy Maybe she'll pull out a lightsaber, maybe do some battles. I don't know. And we'll see how the politics and the things that are going on in the Jedi Temple go, because I'm curious about that too. Like, because Sol and his team are going kind of rogue here, and Vanessa's like, hey, no, you need to come back to Coruscant. We need to figure this out. I'm like, no, we need to find May and figure out what's going on, who's pulling the strings, who's the real puppet master, and all this crazy stuff that's going on in the galaxy far, far away. So I'm looking forward to that. Those are my 2 cents. So with that being said, this was an interesting episode, folks. We got some answers, but we also left with some questions. Some pieces of curiosity were left behind. Some conspiracy theories that are cooking up in Jen's head are going crazy.
May I share some?
Do you really want to go that far? Sure, why not? Jen, do you have something
Because
else
I want to
to
hear.
share with us?
I just want to hear thoughts from you all.
Yeah, go ahead.
Here. So one theory I had about the coven getting taken out was, I'm wondering if it was Mother Coral, because we only see Mother Anastaea's body. We really don't see Coral. And that shot was a quick shot. So we really didn't get a chance to really see everyone, because Coral had really strong feelings about the Jedi and not letting the Jedi take the girls. Like you had that dynamic between the 2 mothers about the girls, because she says so strongly, well, I carried them. How would you feel if the Jedi found out how the girls actually came to be? Like basically threatening her in a way. So I had that thought. And my other theory, which is probably not true, and to me it's a little far-fetched, but then I can't help but think on it, is if Mother Coral did survive, is she the Sith Lord and finds May a little bit later, doesn't reveal that it's May? I like, that would just be really interesting because of her view of the Jedi and the dark arts already, and she's kind of leaning more that way, in my opinion. But those are some of my conspiracy theories, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, the giant book that she's written, The Conspiracy Theories of Jen, her and Gadowski are sitting somewhere. In
my own version of the legal pad, right here. Right there.
Right there in her studio on her desk, which is properly placed, so there's no problem with that. Anyone have any as far as those theories go, they're not that far-fetched.
Yeah, I'm on board already.
And she was the one who killed everyone. Wouldn't be surprised, because those witchy women could be cuckoo for cuckoo puffs, and they could be crazy for feeling. So, they could be crazy. It could be nuts out of their minds, out of their water, out of the depths of their water. Who knows? I don't know. Any thoughts on these theories from Jen there, Case?
I mean, there's nothing wrong with the theory.
No,
it's
of course not.
I'm not sure if that is going to be it, because my personal theory is that at some point we're gonna probably see Plagueis, and it might be Plagueis.
Ooh,
that's my theory.
Have you ever heard the story of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
Oh my gosh!
And then if that happens,
Jen
is going to have a proverbial heart attack on set, and then we're going to have to go all the way up to where she is in her studio and revive her from that. So, yeah, that's. I see Dion's taking notes. He's writing this down. Curiosity, though, I am curious. So you can write this down.
Write it down.
I want you to write this down because this is important stuff that you're doing,
Don't
Dion.
let him make you feel bad about legal pads.
No, it's fine, Dion. You're taking notes, and that's a brilliant thing to do in any fandom that you're in. I mean, Lord knows, I learn tons of new things when I'm interviewing guests on And I Quote every single weekend, which, by the way, Saturday, 12 p.m. Eastern Time, that's going to be fun with Darius Bradley Sr., who's a motivational speaker out of the great state of Texas, who's going to be joining us this weekend. So that's going to be a lot of fun. But outside of that, Dion, any thoughts on conspiracy theories? And how many did you just write down of your own?
No, well, I was already sold on Jen's, but then I started thinking of like just the show. Would that be too easy of a reveal, you know? But I need to go back in. I want to make sure. Darth Plagueis, is that what I'm writing down? Okay.
Yeah, Darth Plagueis is my theory.
Yeah, Darth Plagueis.
Okay, and he pops up in what? Brian, this is
well, we actually have never seen it before.
No, he was mentioned in a story that Palpatine tells Anakin during the opera scene in that film that doesn't exist in my eyes called Revenge of the Sith.
Okay.
Yeah,
we just talked about the acceptance of artistry earlier.
I know. It's all good.
You are part of the problem, Ryan.
I am I don't mean to be. I'm just,
But the thing is, we have not actually seen Plagueis anywhere The most that we've gotten out of him is a novel that has now been declared as Legends, which is called Plagueis. Came out in 2012. It's pretty good if you want to read it.
Yeah.
Which explains what, who Plagueis is and his relationship with Palpatine as Master and Apprentice.
Yes.
That is very true. Heard about the story, seen the cover of the book. Now that it's considered Legends, so maybe I wouldn't mind sitting down and reading that one day. So it's a standalone novel compared to the 30,000 novels in the High Republic series that I would have to read. So it helps. It helps. I'm just throwing it out there. Sorry. Good Lord, these things with books. I know there's a little thing called audiobooks. I know you're screaming at me in the Star Wars universe room on the House of Clubs, and also the person in this chat may be saying that as well. I don't know. But yeah, any other thoughts on theories or anything else, or am I missing something here?
Only other theory I had with the Sith Lord is that it could be a Chimere, the shopkeep from last week.
Oh yeah.
Just because the fact, and I could probably reason it out, but just some of the information that he knows about May, the sisters, the fact that so far we don't see them together whenever we see one or the other, but that could be done purposefully to try to throw us off, so we don't figure it out, which for me as a person who watches visual storytelling, thank you.
By the way, Chimere actually did start with the first line of the Sith code.
He does. That's why I thought it was him.
Right.
He quotes the Sith code. That's why I thought that was hi.
There is more to him than we know.
Just in the words of Transformers from the 1980s, there's more.
And the fact that how he defended himself when May came at him and he's just overpowered her. I was like, oh, you got some skills.
You got some Matrix skills. Maybe he got the download from Tank, in Trinity. How do I fight this person, Tank? I need a download. So what exactly it is that you're looking for?
Someone please make that meme.
Lots.
I need a download to fight a Jedi. Can you help me?
Yeah, can we have that as a meme from Pace or somebody on the internet?
I need a download on Star Wars. Copy that.
Can we have that as a meme that we can share on social media between everybody? Can we do that?
I'm gonna make this after we're done with the show.
Please do. And then Jen, myself, Dion, we're gonna send it over. Dude, send it over. We're gonna send it over to Christie on Instagram, and then she's gonna start using it. So,
heck yeah.
Make sure we send it to Christie, everybody. Just throwing that out there. But outside of the fact that we have creative minds in the studio, such as Case with his creativity of memes and things that we don't expect him to create, but he does it anyway, and the fact that he owns more Lego sets than the average human being. This has been very interesting. This has been very good discussions. We hope you who may be watching or listening to this have enjoyed these discussions, and I would like to emphasize two things. Star Wars is for everyone, and celebrate what you love, not what you hate. So I'm gonna leave you with that mic drop moment for the interwebs. So, Case, if someone wants to know more about your conspiracy theories, the fact that you do nothing but build Lego sets all day in the name of humankind, and you watch movies with us, you join us on several panels for several different types of shows. Just pointing that out there. Case is going to be with us the entire weekend since we're doing 2 watch-alongs back-to-back on Saturday and Sunday. Get ready for those. The links are in the bios and in the descriptions and on our YouTube page, etc., etc. Case, where can the good people of the interwebs follow you on social media to keep up to date with everything you got going on?
Well, given that you actually heard my speech and you're not going to hate comment on my videos, you can follow me at the Dutch Star Wars Guy on YouTube, where I do videos every week. I already put up my review for the Acolyte. I'm probably going to make a video addressing the toxic fandom because it's insane right now. So look out for that. And with that said, you can follow me at Dutch SW Guy on Twitter. And come check us out watching the Indiana Jones movies, Temple of Doom tomorrow and Last Crusade on Sunday. Because I'm joining. It's going to be a lot of me this weekend on this channel. So that's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, kind sir, for being with us. Our good friend Jen, thank you so much for being with us, sharing your conspiracy theories, your legal pads, your pens and papers with everybody. Thank you for educating the class on several different things and several different characters and whatnot. But if someone wants to know more about you and the incredible things that you love to talk about and celebrate, where can they follow you on social media?
Oh goodness, you can follow me at Jen Adamina Godosky. That's my personal handle. At Jen Godosky on Twitter and Clubhouse. You can find me there as well. And then I have my podcast called Rocking Your Bald on social media. That is at rocking your underscore bald. You can find me there. We have a Star Wars episode up from May the 4th. You can listen to that is live. And then I'm also on TikTok at Nerdiqua. I'm over there as well. You can follow me there. I share stuff that I find interesting. So follow along. It's gonna be fun.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being with us. Do greatly appreciate your wonderful person inside and out. And may the force be with you as always. Dion, my man, the man who just seems to be the casual dresser, casual fan, has a casual man cave in the background of his studio with billions of posters on the wall that look ridiculously good looking. And that Wonder Woman shirt is ridiculously, wonderfully good looking. But if someone wants to know exactly, and DC is just as good as anything else. So, Dion, if someone wants to know more about you and the incredible projects you have coming up, where can they follow you?
Yeah, can follow All Star Fandom Show on TikTok and Instagram. No toxicity or fan toxicity over there. We try to keep it as light as possible. It's just a show where we celebrate fandoms. Just recently did a review of Bad Boys. Went longer than it needed to be, the review did, but if you go find yourself over there, just skim through that. We'll appreciate some feedback on that. And next few episodes that we have will be talking to a few more fan-made series, animated series, and actual like fan movies. So it's a good time over there. We just celebrate all fandoms. And Ryan, just again, thanks for having me on for this. I've learned a lot.
Yeah, those legal pads are going to come in handy for next week's class, bro. But we thank you for being here, kind sir. You're a gentleman and you're a scholar, so we'll give you that as well. So my name is Ryan of Anaquote Channel. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram personally at RyanRPM5. You can follow us across all forms of social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch. We are on Twitch if you're over there. Follow us at And I Quote Channel on our social media platforms. Links are in the description. Links are in our social media bios. Lots of great things coming away very soon. Movie watch-alongs are going to be on Saturdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time this weekend. Going to be celebrating the 40th anniversary of Indiana Jones and Temple of Doom. And then on Sunday at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time, celebrating the 35th anniversary of my favorite Indiana Jones movie. Indiana Jones and Last Crusade turns 35, which is insanity times 1,000. But so many shows, movie watch-along on the weekends, And I Quote on Saturdays, 12 p.m. Eastern Time. Nerdy Cantina Friday night, 7 p.m. Eastern. So join us, tell your friends about us, help us reach 5,000 subscribers. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, ring the bell to be notified when our videos go up or they go live. And remember, the Force will be with you always.
There's so many. Has anyone been to them all?
Not likely.
I want to be the first one to see them all.
Truly wonderful the mind of a child is.
Come on. When you find people who need your help, you help them. No matter what.
Good luck. We have hope. Hope that things can get better. And they will.
Stand up together. Because that's when we're strongest. As one.
You won't be going alone. You'll have a friend with you.
No. I'll have a Jedi with me.
You might want to buckle up, baby.
Rise,
Rise in the Force.
Take care of this little one.
It'll take care of you. We had each other. That's how we won.
Force is strong in my family.
Its energy surrounds us and binds us.
What is it they've sent us?
Hope.